Okay, this video is to show the whole process of programming one of these buttons and some of the I/O on the back side of the machine and the cabinet. For this video, we're going to look at one example. So this is our auto door. It's got a little servo system that controls it. So to open and close the door, hit that button. So that's all easy. We've already done that, but what we don't have is a good reset system and a good indication that the servo system is healthy for the auto door. So what we're going to do is make this button be a reset. So I've got the buttons taken off, they're getting engraved right now. But this button will be the reset, and that light right there, kind of like what that light is like, that light will be the servo is okay light. So this is how we do it. We're going to start by pushing in the e-stop, and then we're going to hit this little arrow key. This is a Doosan controller, but I believe it's a Fanuc OI. Anyway, there's a shortcut there. You can get there by hitting this key and then arrow over once and then go to settings. I spelled setting wrong, that's all right. And then I just hit edit enabled, turn it to yes. Program enabled, turn it to yes just by hitting the keys. Yes, no, yes, no, yes. And then we're going to go to ladder. And then we're going to pause for a second. We're going to go over to a book. And then we want to look at the, we want to look at the button map. So let me use into here. This is hard to read, but the one we want to do is R7.3. Wonder if I can do this. Yeah, look at that. And R27.3. So the reason we picked R7.3 because this one and that one are all free, but this one has a bunch of I/O written about it already, and this one hardly doesn't. So we can manipulate this stuff easier than we can the rest of the buttons. So we're going to use it first. We've already used these and then some up here. At any rate, so we're going to go there, and we're going to start by saying R27.3 is an input that controls an output. That output will be this one. So we're in, let me take a couple steps back. This is the electrical manual for this Doosan machine that we're running. They're pretty much going to be all the same style, no matter what brand you go with. But we had a whole bunch of options. You can see that this page is fairly large. Let me show you why we chose this one. Just a sec. All right, so we're here. This is the control board that we're interested in here. If you look right there, the address of the whole board is XT107, and that's important because that tells you in the drawing where you're at in the machine. Each of these have their own little addresses, so this group of outputs and inputs is 106. They all have their own little name. This one is kind of like a user output that I find that is most convenient to pick and choose from. All right, so let's zoom out a little bit. Here's what we're looking at. They're calling this X or CB. The other one I think was XB or something, but they kind of vary. We have two Doosan mills that we bought at about the same day, and they have different numbering schemes. But the lettering schemes are different, but the numbers are the same. So you kind of have to play it by ear, and then some of the stuff is in English, which is a little difficult to understand, but numbers are easy. X's are inputs, Y's are outputs. This is telling you that the 7th bit, you got 764321 All of these give you an address. So this is Y7.7. And then the other one that we'll use is one that isn't being used by anybody, which is X10.6, which is also easy to find on that 107 circuit board that I just showed you. Then, so what we want, in conclusion, is the button here to turn on this output, and this input turns on that light. That makes sense? So that's the goal of what we're doing. So the servo will give us this signal, and we'll give this signal to the servo, and we'll show you how to do that. Okay, so here we are where I left you off. He stops in. We've gone through the settings and made it so that we can edit this ladder. Sorry, I'm short. This pendant's quite tall, and it's very loud in here, but you'll get the idea. All right, so first thing we're going to do is go search for, hit operator, search menu, and then I'm going to type in Y7.7. We're going to search. You can see that it's already used. We don't want to create two outputs for the PLC to turn off and then on and then off and then on again in a split second, because then it won't do what we're supposed to, and usually the PLC gets mad. So first thing we're going to do, because this is fixture 4 unclamped solenoid, we don't need that. So we're going to just delete the whole rung. So I'm going to exit this. I'm going to go to edit. Thinks for a second, and then I'm going to say delete. So I'm going to delete this whole rung that has our bit in it, our output. So I deleted it. Now we're going to go do the same thing for the other address, which is X10.6. I'm going to go search menu, X10.6, search. And then it says address is not found. That's good. Now we're going to go, just because I like stuff to be together, we're going to go in the ladder where this stuff is. So we're going to cheat. We're going to go over to here, and I'm going to look at this button layout, and I'm going to search R8.1 just to get us in the right neighborhood. So I'm going to hit R8.1, search, and then we're in the neighborhood of where all this stuff is. So I'm just going to create a new net right here. So hit exit. Then I'm going to create a net, which is a rung. They call their rungs nets. And then this one's going to be the one that turns on the light. So it'll be, whoops, this is easier to do if you say X10.6, which is our input. Goes to an output of this address, which if you look here, go back to this page, is R27.3. So the bigger number is the light, the lower number is the button. So R27.3. And so I just type in R27.3. There you have it. I'm going to get that thing out of the way. And then we're going to create another net, which is normally closed, and it's going to be Y7.7. So this is the, oh, whoops, no, hold on. It's going to be R7.3, which is the button of our light. And then we're going to output to a Y7.7. So here we go. This is the basic structure of it. Read that okay. Now, what we want to do is exit this edit, And you can see our two rungs right here. Now notice how the rungs have pretty much useless names. So these tags are not helpful at all to help you understand what's going on. In fact, it would be even more confusing because you're looking at a fixture and clamp solenoid. That's not going to help. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go into this little side key, go into settings. Oh, hold on. It wants us to exit edit. CNC's running. I'm going to update it. I'm going to write it in Flash. Yes. We hit settings again. We're going to go over to configure parameters. Number 2 is machine signal interface. And then we're going to arrow over once. Go to symbol. So now we can edit these by hitting the operator and then edit. And then it's going to say, hey, do you want to stop the program? So let's stop the PMC again, or the PLC. Now, we can search. So let's start with, got to type it in first. Let's start with X10.6. And we're going to search. And it's called ASDO, which isn't helpful, so we're going to call it something else. We're going to zoom just like you would on a rung. And we're going to name it auto door. Let's see, this is the input that tells the light to come on. So let's do ad.rdy. ad.rdy has an auto door ready. Hit enter. And then we're going to do AUTO space door space ready, enter. Perfect. And we're going to say alter. Now let's do the next one. We're going to do Y7.7. Search. Zoom. This is the signal that gives the servo its enable command. So this has to always be on. So this is, we'll call it ad.enbl as an enable. And then we're going to call it AUTO or ENBL for short. Output. Enter. Alter. Now let's go do R7.3 and R27.3. So let's start with R7.3. Search. So it used to be screw conveyor reverse, which I wish this thing had, but obviously doesn't. I'm going to zoom. We're going to call it, so to be clear, this is the button. When you press the button, this is that signal. So let's call it Autodoor N button, or we'll just call it AD dot ENB button. Doesn't really matter what you call it as long as it's being used somewhere else. And then AUTO or reset. So effectively this button will become a reset. You're not enabling it, you're actually releasing the enable and letting it re-enable itself, and that is what resets it. So we're calling it a reset. With that in mind, I'm going to name this RST alter. Now we need R27.3, so let's type in R27.3 into the search. This thing isn't found, so we're going to make a new entry. That means this button, or that light right there, doesn't have an address associated with it in the PMC, or it doesn't have a name associated with it. So we're going to say new entry, Gonna give it an R27.3. Gonna say 80 dot L, well, let's call it enable CNC lamp. There might be some rules associated with what you can name this. They never give it spaces, which I'm thinking that's important. I'm no professional at this, but we get along okay. And then we're going to say auto door auto door enable lamp. Add. Okay, that's the 4 signals or bits that we were interested in. Oops. Looks like so I didn't hit enter after I hit that. And to fix it, we're just going to cruise over and do it again. I'm sorry you have to watch this. Auto door and hit enter. Then hit alter. And there you have it. Okay, so now we exit the edit. It's going to ask, hey, do you want to write it to the flash? You want to run the program for whatever reason. Use what button you have to press. Now we can go back to the ladder. Now everything makes a lot more sense. So the button, let's see. Oh yeah. So it turned the PMC on, so now we can see what it's doing. But as I press this button, that goes on and off, and then the auto door enable signal goes on and off. Alright, so I think that's just about all you need to know. One thing that I like to do, I don't know that you care to see how the wires go together. One thing I'd like to do is just make sure that the machine boots up again. Sometimes when I've messed with the PMC, it kind of has a connection fit. I'm going to have reset a couple of times. See, and the doors made a wiggle because we just turned them on again. And there you have it. So that is how we program the reset and the status light here. Now let me show you how it works, just real quick. Okay, so I've got everything wired up. It's pretty simple. Just in the bottom corner, you can see my finger. There's here. Open it. All the while this light's on. I'm going to close it again, and then I'm going to stop it with my hand and fault the servo out. So, oh, I wasn't strong enough. Let me try that one more time. Got to be quick about it. There we go. So now this light is out. Now if I hit this button, the doors slowly go and find their home again. And then when they're done, so that is servo is enabled, everything's healthy. When they're done, the doors work again. That is how we do those switches.